Feudal Japan, a time of honor, blood, silence, and some of the most fascinating, brutal, and straight-up bizarre traditions in history. Think you know the samurai? Think again. These aren't just history facts. These are the secrets of a warrior nation that closed itself off from the world and perfected the art of control. Let's dive into 10 shocking truths about feudal Japan. Imagine walking down the street, bumping into a guy by accident, and the next second you're dead. In feudal Japan, samurai had a terrifying privilege: kirasut gomen. If a commoner disrespected them, even unintentionally, a samurai could draw his sword and kill them, legally. No trial, no punishment. The only rule? The samurai had to report the killing to his lord and justify his actions. And if the lord said it was dishonorable, that samurai might have to commit ritual suicide to make up for it. Pop culture gave us this image: ninjas in tight black suits doing backflips and vanishing in smoke. But real ninjas? They were far sneakier. Most were spies, saboteurs, and assassins, trained to blend in. A ninja could disguise himself as a monk, a merchant, a servant, and slip unnoticed into enemy territory. Their goal wasn't flashy combat, it was silent intel gathering. Some even used coded messages in poems and fan dances. And about those smoke bombs, mostly theatrical distractions, the true ninja weapon: patience. The Bushido Code told samurai to be disciplined, loyal, honorable. But in reality, many were far from noble. During the Sengoku period, a time of endless war, samurai were like warlords. They burned villages, stole crops, executed rivals, and taxed peasants into starvation. Think of them less like Jedi, and more like mafia bosses in armor. Loyalty was often a mask for ambition. Alliances shifted overnight, and behind every katana was a man willing to do anything to rise in power. Want to know how powerful someone was in feudal Japan? Don't ask about money. Ask how much rice they had. Rice wasn't just food, it was wealth. Samurai were paid in koku. One koku could feed a man for a year. The more koku you had, the more samurai you could command. Some daimyo controlled thousands of koku and entire provinces. And here's the twist: even if you were born noble, without rice, you had no power. In Japan, grain was king. Samurai weren't just warriors, they were thinkers. Training included philosophy, poetry, calligraphy, and even dance. The perfect warrior wasn't just deadly with a sword, he needed to be balanced in mind and body. Some samurai carried poetry scrolls along with their blades. In fact, it wasn't uncommon for a samurai to write a farewell haiku, moments before battle or death. Think about that. You're about to fight to the death. But first, let me write a poem. That was the samurai spirit. For samurai, losing honor was worse than death. So if they brought shame to themselves or their lord, they had one way to make it right: seppuku, ritual suicide by slicing the stomach open. But this wasn't just personal, it was a public event. Witnesses were invited, formal letters were read. Sometimes the samurai wore white. A second man, the kaishakunin, stood behind with a sword, ready to end the suffering quickly. It was brutal, but to them it was noble, a final act of control over your own fate. Feudal Japan had a complex view of love and loyalty, and among samurai, male-male relationships weren't taboo, they were often celebrated. These bonds, called shudo, were considered honorable and spiritual. Mentors and students sometimes formed deep emotional and, yes, romantic connections. Samurai wrote each other love poems, exchanged tokens, and believed this kind of loyalty made them stronger in battle. It's not the version of samurai Hollywood shows, but it was very real. Tokugawa Japan had one of the first organized spy agencies in history, the Oniwaban. Their job: protect the shogun by watching everyone else. They spied on lords, courtiers, even merchants. Disguised as gardeners or tea servers, they listened, watched, and quietly reported back to Edo Castle. Betrayal, conspiracy, one whisper to the Oniwaban, and a lord's entire house could vanish. In a country obsessed with order, they were the shadows that kept the balance. For over 250 years, Japan said, "No thanks," to the rest of the world. This was the era of Sakoku, the locked country. No one could enter or leave. Foreigners caught on Japanese land, executed. Trade was limited to a tiny Dutch outpost and Christianity was hunted underground. While Europe exploded with revolutions and machines, Japan perfected the art of stillness. But when the doors finally opened, the world changed forever. Feudal Japan was a world of silence and steel, a society shaped by discipline, loyalty, and fear. Which fact shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments and follow for more forgotten history that hits different.